When it comes to chronic back pain and back pain in general, posture plays a minor role. It really doesn't matter all that much as maybe the internet or some experts or medical people would like you to believe. It only plays a small role. Now, it's not completely irrelevant, so it's not something that you should necessarily ignore, but working on it purposefully usually doesn't yield a lot of effect. You're gonna notice that no matter how much you try to work on your posture actively and directly, your back pain is probably not going to improve, especially if you're suffering with a chronic back pain issue. First of all, posture is more like a preventative measure than a healing measure. So if you're already, if your back is already hurt, if you've already suffered an injury, or maybe you've activated like some sort of a chronic back pain like problem, you're gonna probably notice that working on your posture doesn't really have a ton of direct effect. But if you already have good posture, the chances for you suffering a back pain injury are lower. Now, this is one of those things that's kind of like nobody learns it precisely in the right time. You don't really think about posture unless your back starts to hurt. And by that point, it's probably already a little bit too late. Again, like it's not the posture is not something that you want to completely ignore, but if your back is already hurting, you're going to want to focus on other methods and solutions. And by the way, the video that's going to appear above me goes into a lot of depth on what you should do precisely if you're already suffering from back pain. And while there are other methods that you should probably focus on if you're suffering from chronic back pain and back pain in general, posture is still something that you want to address. And the problem here is that it's not really easy to do this, especially if you're following the conventional, traditional method of improving posture, which is through actively working on it through exercises and stretches and rehab and stuff like that. Posture is actually more like a habit thing. It's more like a mindset thing, which is why directly targeting it with exercises doesn't really yield a lot of benefits. The exercises and the stretches and all of that, they're not going to harm you, and they will contribute a little bit to improving your posture, but essentially you will notice that you're still not being in the habit of having good posture. Your default is still gonna remain having poor posture no matter how much you do the exercises. What I've found to be a much better way to address posture is to actually look at it from a mindset perspective. This includes kind of working on your, let's say, life in general, but more specifically how you feel, how good you feel in your body, how confident you are, how much you express yourself, how free and powerful you feel in your body and in the world around you. If you work on that, which essentially means like, being on a path towards self-improvement, let's say that's a good way of putting it. If you're doing that, you're gonna notice that your posture improves on its own. You don't really need to do a ton of other exercises and stretches and stuff like that. So work on improving your life in general. You're gonna be more confident, and also like you can kind of work on confidence itself. You can kind of work on relaxing yourself a little bit. Meditation is great here. Sports are great here. Like being social, being successful, all of that is going to contribute. And you're going to notice that the more the better you feel in your body, the more you kind of want to have a better posture. If posture follows your, let's say, body freedom and power and confidence. So if you solve like the root problem here, you're gonna notice that posture improves on its own. Now the problem here is that these solutions, the actual solutions, they may take a little bit of more time. They may require, this can take months or even years. I noticed this because I've been a self-improvement nerd for pretty much ever since I discovered the internet. But I noticed that I used to have like a really terrible posture. And the more I improved my life, the more I improved not just my life situation and the things around me, but the things within me. Like I resolved like a lot of issues. I dealt with a lot of stuff from the past. The more I kind of worked on addressing those issues and feeling better about myself and my situation, my posture improved on its own. And this took a lot of time. So if you want something that's as close to a shortcut as to a quick fix as possible, I would recommend separating 3 days at least, maybe more if you can do it, where you're going to focus on building the correct mindset for posture specifically. What this means is that for at least 3 days, maybe even more if you can afford it, your primary objective, like your primary goal throughout your entire day, throughout these whole 3 days, is gonna be to be mindful about your posture. And whenever you kind of catch yourself having like poor posture, just fix that. Don't like don't attack yourself, don't judge yourself. Just like whenever you notice it, like kind of fix it a little bit, improve it. And if you do this for 3 days constantly, so maybe like have like a weekend plus one extra day, I found that if it takes like maybe some people say 21 days to start getting into a habit, some people say like 60, 67 or something. uh, what I've found is that it may take like that period of time, sure, but the first 3 days are critical. If you start well, if you really start in an intensive way here and really focus on this, you're gonna find that the effects kind of spill out in the other days, and this is gonna enable you to stick with the habit much more in a much easier way. If you focus for 3 days just on having good posture, you're not gonna solve posture forever, but for the next 3 weeks or whatever it takes for you to build the correct habit, you're gonna notice that you're gonna have a much easier time. It doesn't really take a lot of brain power and discipline to get this one correct. So spend 3 days really just focusing on your posture. Everything else is gonna be secondary. You're gonna work primarily on this, and after that, spend a few more weeks, living your life essentially, but at the same time also being mindful and improving your posture. And this is going to have a really good long-term effect. You will be able to kind of improve your posture drastically without really attacking the root causes, the root issues here, which is essentially like improving the way you feel about yourself and in your body, which translates to good posture. So definitely work on that as well. I think that's even more valuable to solve. But if you don't really have the time, or if the circumstances are not correct for you at this time, maybe like just take 3 days to work on posture specifically, and you're gonna see that the results are really meaningful. But to bring it full circle, if you're struggling with back pain and chronic back pain, the effects on back pain that improving your posture has will be a little bit, they will be minimal. You won't see like you won't solve back pain with this. You won't even see like drastic reductions. You'll probably see a little bit of an improvement. If you want to solve back pain completely, the next video that's going to appear above me is going to be a great way to do that. I will see you there, and until next time, be brave.